How's it going? Just a dumb dad here, Brian. Uh, so hopefully you guys have all had a pretty decent week. I know here on the East Coast we've had some snow, which was fun, and there's possibly more on the way with a potential nor'eastern. But I don't, I'm not sure if that's really going to happen. They're projecting like 1 to 3 inches of snow. That doesn't really sound like a nor'eastern to me, but I guess it's got potential to grow. Whatever. Anyway, so I wanted to touch on a little bit of a different topic. I know I just kind of bring up some memories from the past or do something stupid. However, this is a channel just about being a dumb dad. Learning everything that I do on a daily basis with raising kids, growing. Hopefully something's happened in my life that's similar to someone else's or what's going on, and they pick up something that a different way of approaching it or a way of doing something differently, or just get some laughs out of it. But today I kind of wanted to touch on the topic of some of the differences of growing up in the 80s and 90s into 2000 and growing up in the mid 2000. Well, I guess it's still early depending on how you look at it, but from like 2005 to, now, how some of the stuff goes with raising kids or having kids, being a kid, with different things, because the world it's not a nice place half the time. So some of this is a little bit flying by the seat of my pants, for the simple fact that it's just kind of things that I deal with my kids, especially with my daughters and everything that's going on with a lot of different things right now. With school and then COVID that's going on and a couple of different things. But one of the things that I've noticed that is a lot different now than when I was a kid, and this one's always a touchy subject. It brings different types of people out of the woodwork, different opinions and ideas, and that's good because I want to know people's opinions and ideas. I look for the comments in all the videos. It's a growing channel, so there's not a lot of activity, and I understand that. But hopefully this video gets around a little bit, because I would love to have some feedback, some more topics to talk about. I want to know what your guys' ideas and opinions are on different things, and any experiences that you have. And you're more than welcome to share those in the comment section, and maybe we could talk about it in an upcoming video or different things like that. So maybe it's something not even related to this video that you're curious and you have questions about, and it might be something that I'm comfortable working with. But bullying. Let's just deal with cut straight to the point on that. Bullying. It seems like bullying has been around for forever. And it's like every new generation finds a new way to bully, and the previous generation's got to figure out another way to get around it, work with it, or deal with it, so we can help guide our generations that are growing now to get through it and get past it, and hopefully pass the torch on. So when I was growing up as a kid, bullying was a little bit different. I grew up getting bullied in school and different things just because of my body type or the clothes that I was wearing, my haircut, not really having as much money in the family as other families had, with like shoes and different things like that, hand-me-down stuff. And it tends to give you a thicker skin. It's something that helps you to grow, helps you to adapt and deal with people and whatnot. And I think that there's an upside to bullying that's really minor, just for the experience purpose on how to deal with situations and people. But yeah, I grew up getting bullied with stuff. I was the kid who had the side haircut, the hand-me-down clothes and shoes, which literally consisted of a flannel shirt and corduroy pants like almost every day going through school. I would like to bitch and complain and say that I never really got to have anything nice, but at the same time, my mom was a single mom, raising 2 kids, and that's tough in itself. So, but while I was being bullied at school, the school policies were a lot different than what they are now. You got into a little scuffle on the playground. You dealt with stuff. Eventually, it winds up getting reported to a teacher. Teachers pull you in. They try to diffuse the situation. That back then they had pink slips, suspensions, and expulsions. But you would get bullied at school or whatever. You would get to go home. And now this is assuming you had the standard normal home life. I know that there's people that also went home and didn't have the greatest lives, but let's just say that you didn't have to deal with any of that shit, but you were just being bullied in school. You were able to get away from it. You were able to be around the safety of your home, your family, the friends that you do have, or just not being around people at all. And social media really wasn't a big thing then. And as you can kind of see where I'm starting to lean into this now, is bullying hasn't really changed, it's just evolved more. So it's still in the schools, it's still in the workplace, it's still out there for people, whether you're young or old. But you can't just go home to get away from it anymore. I mean, you can. There's obviously, you don't have to go online. You can choose to cut certain people out of your life and different things like that. But however, social media has made it insanely easy to target people. My daughters deal with this at the same time. And you guys have seen pictures of them. I love my daughters to death. They're gorgeous little girls, full of love and personality and everything, and it's great. But they'll get bullied at school. Kids will be running their mouth, saying stuff, put out threats, talk about them. I mean, especially now that my one daughter has had her Tourette's develop, and it gets a little rough for them. But then they can't just come home to mom and dad and hugs and kisses make it all better and safe for them, because this is the era of the cell phone. We're all slaves to the mighty box, and they go on their social media sites, and it's on Facebook where it's you're ugly, you're fat, kill yourself, you shouldn't exist, you're worthless, you're a piece of shit. And then it's you'll see it on YouTube comments. You see people flip out over video games nowadays, to kill yourself, or I'm going to kill your family, and all this crazy insane stuff. It's on TikTok videos where girls and guys just have to feel the need to go shit on someone for something that they put out as content that was supposed to be fun, whether it's a cosplay video, makeup video, just some crazy dancing, different things like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's some dumb stuff on TikTok, like people that get out of their car while it's moving to do TikToks and stuff, which I know that's really old by now, but to go and just put all kinds of hate to target people is crazy. Why? I mean, I don't know. Does it get your rocks off? Does it help you bust one in your pants? Are you having that shitty of a hard life that you feel the need to lash out and target others? It's crazy these days that you can't get away from different things. And then we have the schools that still want to rear back at the kids that are being bullied. I had the same experience when I was a kid, getting bullied in school, getting beat up constantly, and then you finally snap and you fight back, and you come around and you punch a kid in the eye and swallow his eye shut, and then for the next 5 years you're known as a school bully in the school system. Not the kids that bullied you every day for a year or two, beating on you and stuff off the record books, but the one time that you stood up for yourself. And the same thing goes within the school districts nowadays. They say that they have systems in place, and they have cops. If there's fighting, they call the cops, they bring them in. But it's like a lot of times nowadays, teachers really don't want to do the extra work with stuff. And I know it's tough for teachers, and wanting to dedicate to kids that want to be there and pay attention and listen. But sometimes you have to step outside the box and remember that you took on a role as a teacher because that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to constantly adapt to find ways to teach the youth, whether they want it or not half the time. But eventually you get through to them and you figure it out. And the same thing with bullying goes on in the schools. They have the cops that are in there. They want to deal with stuff immediately. Or if a kid goes and reports it, for it to get dealt with, then it gets back to them, and they're known as a snitch and a bully, and they get beat up off there, and they get beat on social media and torn apart. And I've watched both my little girls almost wind up in a corner, balled up, just not almost ready to take it anymore. And it's really difficult to see that stuff and not be able to save them right away. And then you reach out to the school system, and they're like, well, we can't be responsible for everything that happens online. Which blows my mind, because my job and most companies, if you do something to someone from your job outside of your job, it can still cost you your job. There's repercussions at work. but not necessarily in the school system because they don't want to upset multiple parents. And I've seen a lot of stuff, to be honest, where sometimes a lot of these kids that are doing the bullying, their parents are on the PTO or whatever and involved with the schools and all this and that. So like as soon as that parent gets upset, then your kid gets targeted because your kid gave them a black eye or knocked one of their teeth out or something. I'm not saying that violence is always the answer. I'm not. But the kid that's getting bullied for years finally fights back, and then they're the enemy. Meanwhile, they were still the victim. The one time that one of these little shits gets shut up. You see it all over the social media, all over the different internet sites, whether you're black or white, gay, straight, it doesn't matter what you do anymore. Nowadays, there's just so many people that want to get on there and hate on people. And I honestly feel that we need to have repercussions with stuff online. The school systems should be involved. A lot of kids are using Snapchat nowadays because it deletes after it reads. But remember, you can screenshot those messages, and turn them in. It lets them know who exactly took the screenshot, and it is what it is. But these schools and companies and stuff need to step up a little more, that if there's going to be bullying and all that stuff where it's tearing kids apart to the point where they want to shoot themselves on Zoom or overdose or whatever it is, that to stop them from hurting because they're still not old or smart enough to know how to handle some of these situations. And I've seen adults fall to it too. It's bullshit that there's not systems in place with it. School's supposed to be a safe place no matter what, just like your home. And if the school is only going to take actions because it took place in the school, but they're not going to care about the students outside of the school, then they really got to get their priorities straight for half the stuff that they do report. So, but I mean, this is just a rambling thought of mine, something that's been under my skin and has been growing as an irritation for a really long time. Especially being a father, doesn't know how to deal with the situation 100% best, because my first instinct is I want to go beat the shit out of these little fuckers. Show them what actual fear is like and what it's like to be alone and scared when, they've been torturing your child and ganging up and bullying and making them feel horrible. It's utterly freaking ridiculous. And yes, I'm trying to filter myself a little bit. But we got to step up more, man. We got, parents, like, pay attention to what your kids are doing on social media. Get in their phones. Put that tracker in there that allows you to have access to some of their messaging and whatnot. It's not necessarily an invasion of privacy. It's you taking control and charge of your child to help them to grow with stuff. If you see them bullying, teach them not to. Or find the basis of what's going on. Don't just jump to conclusions, but get involved with them more. I know it's stressful and a pain in the ass, but you have no idea what your kid is either going through or potentially putting someone else through if you don't, put your foot in the door a little bit more. School's got to step up, have a program or put stuff in place that if this bullying is reported and it's done online, that there needs to be reprimandations or whatever the heck the word is within the schools. If my daughter was bullying someone at school, hardcore, whatever, I expect a call from the teachers to go with my daughter and address the situation. If she needs to be in detention or if she needs to get suspended, or God forbid, repeat offender multiple times and she's torturing these other kids and needs to get expelled, then that's what needs to happen. Kids these days needs to learn that there's repercussions to everything they do. We got to stop coddling stuff and be more realistic, because all the lives that are involved are crazy. Parents got to step up their game with stuff. Same thing within the communities. But bullying and online internet abuse and everything is getting way out of hand. When you start to see people just target someone because of their gender or their race or just a general video, especially if the content is nothing harmful at all, or these video game companies and threatening their families and all this stuff, like, what the fuck is going on? Let's get our shit together. So, but that's enough rambling for me with this. Please leave your comments below. As far as I know, all the comments are still turned on. I'll never turn them off. And yeah, I expect something hateful. If someone that I normally don't deal with actually sees this video or whatever, and they just want to be a cuck, it's fine. I'll respond to that accordingly as well. However, if you've gone through any of these experiences or different things, or you're having a hard time or different ideas with it, or you just want to share some of your own experiences with it, please leave comments in the section below. Maybe it'll wind up in a future video with it. You know, if you have some other topics that are interesting to you outside of the bullying or whatever, and you want to talk about those, you know, it's more ideas, more content stuff that we can discuss as a community with that, because, you know, that's what Just a Dumb Dad's about. Yeah, there's going to be goofy stuff here and there. Like today, I put a short up about my bulldog taking a crap. But it's also about everything that goes on in our lives, growing up as a parent, as a spouse, you know, as a brother, a sister, a friend, everything. You know, that's what Just a Dumb Dad's about. So, but that's it for me now. Love you guys to death. Thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on your notifications with the bell if you want to keep up with any content that I put out here. I know it's been a little slow. Last week I didn't really put a video. I did not really. I just didn't put a video out last week because it was a little, it was a bit of a stressful week. So, but it's not an excuse. If I'm going to be creating content, I got to be a little bit more to a schedule with that one. So look for a video next week. I'm only promising a minimum of 1 video a week. There could be multiples eventually. It just depends on how the scheduling and everything goes out. But until then, love you guys to death. Have a good one, and I'll see you later.